what we're trying to do here is just put a guardrail in this bill to allow law enforcement to be able to conduct a traffic stop on the observation of someone smoking marijuana while in control of a motor vehicle. Very simple amendment, and we're just trying to make sure we're protecting individuals on our highways across the state of Maryland. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
How many people feel comfortable taking a long neck Budweiser, getting behind the wheel of a car, and driving in front of a police car and wondering whether you're going to be pulled over or not? Does anybody think that they would not be pulled over? This law passes, smoking a marijuana, who knows? I support the amendment, and thank you for answering my questions.
Madam Speaker.
Maker of the motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Amendment.
Just a couple things, things I'd like to point out. First and foremost, one thing that we discuss a lot in this body is allowing the judiciary to interpret the will of the General Assembly. We hear that a lot. We want to make sure that we're not putting pressure on the judiciary to understand and interpret our will. So that's one of the reasons I believe we need to put a guardrail in and be very direct with the judiciary on our intent. And the floor leader mentioned about not wanting to codify case law. There's a number of matters we are working on even right now trying to codify case law. It's my understanding that we're going to have a potential constitutional amendment to attempt to support case law coming up. So I would just urge the body to please move this amendment. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
So when we're considering a bill like this, we all have to ask ourselves, what negative impact could it possibly have in the future? And what greater, more devastating impact is there than death? We're here to protect life. Death is absolute. Unnecessary death is tragic, devastating, and leaves nothing but sorrow and pain in its wake. So what can we do when we see a bill like this to help mitigate that and protect life like we are all sworn to do? We don't know how this bill will roll out, but we can look at other states that have already passed this type of legislation. So this morning I took some time and did some quick research, and I looked to Washington State, which legalized recreational marijuana in December of 2012. And I found a reputable report from AAA, an organization we all know. Save you a couple bucks at the hotel or fix your tire if you can't fix it yourself. And they put a report out that said percentage of drivers in fatal crashes in Washington State who were positive for marijuana. 2008 prior to passage, 8%. 2009, 9%. 2010, 9.4. 2011, 8.7. 2012, 8.9. And then they passed legalized recreational marijuana. 2013, 14%. 2015, 17, 2016, 19, 2017, 21.4% of every fatal crash in the state of Washington had the driver positive for marijuana. That's 1 in 5. That's a scary number. I don't care what you do at home, I really don't. I don't care what you do on your own or in your house or your brand new tent city. It doesn't matter to me. But when you endanger the lives of others, being impaired, that's a public safety risk to all of us. And we have to remember that oath we took to protect life. So my amendment is a common sense and forward-thinking amendment. And I say it's forward-thinking because I know it's not easy to detect these things with the technology we have now. But it simply says, a person may not drive or attempt to drive any vehicle while the person is impaired by cannabis. and it aligns it with the DWIs. And with that, colleagues, I move the amendment.
I'd simply like to say in closing, I hope, Madam Speaker, is that what we are doing here, once again, is we're making marijuana a lesser, easier, more easy to get off from the consequences of using than alcohol, period. That's what it is. There's no test. Can't tell. Can't tell if you smoked a week ago. Can't tell if you ate an edible last night. Can't tell if you just got in the car after you had been using marijuana for the last 3 hours. The statistics that my friend from Anne Arundel County, if that didn't scare the bejeebers out of you, you're not listening. My goodness, in a very short period of time, the number of people involved in fatal car crashes in a state roughly the same size as ours more than doubled after they passed, we'll legalize the marijuana. It's okay. I can use it and still drive. Cop can't get me. There's no test. I used it last night. They won't charge me. That's what's going to happen if we don't put a very hard stop to this and say, hey, if you want to use marijuana, it's fine. Use marijuana all you want. But when you get behind the wheel of that car, understand that there are going to be some significant penalties if you're found to have it in your system. If we eliminate that, we're endangering people. The stats don't lie on this one. I hope that the amendment is adopted by the body. Thank you.
Maker of the amendment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think the good chairman agrees with me on what we're trying to protect against. And maybe he's right. Maybe it is unnecessary. But what if it is necessary? What if it's unnecessary and we put it on this bill, then we're still protecting people and it'll never be used. But what if it is necessary? We hurt nothing by passing this amendment. Absolutely nothing. Maybe it's duplicative. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. But by passing this amendment, we guarantee that we're protecting life. With that, Madam Speaker, I push the amendment.